On, guys, coming to you from the world famous Stub Cycles in beautiful Houston, Texas. And oh yeah, look what I get to bring to you guys today. This is the 2025 Honda CB1000 Hornet SP, and oh my gosh, this bike is sick to look at in person. With the black and gold looking so good, guys. I can promise you that whatever visual you're seeing right now is not doing this bike justice. Throwing a leg over this machine, kicking the key on, greeted with a very nice looking TFT, and this is something that I love. Watch this little icon. We're going to go through the modes. Sport mode's the guy zooming along. You got your rain mode, the guy riding in the rain. Couple of specific rider modes. Normal, yeah, you know we're going with sport. Let's get this machine fired up. Oh yes, guys, I absolutely love the riding position on this machine. A little bit more committed than a normal standard bike, but certainly not uncomfortable. I'm checking in just under 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam, and on the balls of my feet, this motorcycle has a 32-inch seat height. Oh, here we go, guys. So excited to bring this bike to you, and already liking this a lot. And before I get too deep into this, I've got to give a huge shout out to Hunter, Tommy, and the rest of the crew over at Stub Cycles for allowing me to bring this machine to you. Oh, and that quick shifter is so silky. Oh my goodness, guys, I have been so excited to bring this bike to you, and yeah, it was worth the wait. This electronic throttle is extremely intuitive. Just a slight twist of that throttle, and this machine just absolutely responds in kind. And the noise that this thing is making, it's got a fun intake growl. I'm hoping that this will come over on camera. Go ahead and get over, and oh, it's got this really fun bassy just to it. Oh, this is so good, guys. So now that we're on the road, the suspension, it feels nice and tight. And if you're coming from a sport bike, I gotta say, this suspension setup, as we're just going down the road here, it does feel eerily familiar. It's rocking a set of 41 millimeter forks. The valving on it does feel a bit sporty. We are not necessarily talking about top shelf, but plenty of capability for the type of riding that I'm thinking you're going to be putting this bike through. Oh, and the quick shifter, again, it is silky smooth as you would absolutely expect it to be. Get around this truck here. Oh, guys. Yeah, this bike is properly quick. So let's talk about the specifications of this machine. Horsepower at the flywheel, advertised at 150. As far as weight goes, you're looking at about 465 pounds when she's full of fluids and ready to go. So not exactly a lightweight, but it's on par with most of these more sporty sport nakeds that you'll find. And I gotta tell you, it's wearing its weight exceptionally well. It feels like it weighs a lot less than it does. You don't really get that sense of heaviness that you might see in other standards or bikes like this. The noise of this thing. That quick shifter is so smooth and so precise on those downshifts. One thing I do want to point out is just how intuitive this ride-by-wire throttle is. You know, on a lot of bikes that are ride-by-wire, you get a bit of a sense of disconnect. And guys, I gotta say, this may be some of the best ride-by-wire tuning that I think I've ever ridden. It feels so much like a cable throttle. And I know for some of you guys that might not be a big deal, but with ride-by-wire evolving, I think in a lot of ways it's getting so much better now than what it was before that it is worth talking about, mainly just because of the connectedness that you'll feel with this bike, maybe over another one that has maybe not quite as good of a program for that. Oh, the brakes feel nice too. Guys, it was well worth the wait. What a fun bike. I could absolutely see myself spending a ton of time with this machine. In that mid-range pull right here through the middle of the rev range, say 5 to maybe 7,000 RPM, it just absolutely starts to march through the mid-range as you would expect. Now, the engine that is powering this bike is derived from the 2017 CBR 1000. It's been tuned to more appropriately reflect the type of riding that this bike is going to see, which is a lot of mid-range and upper mid-range power. But I got to tell you, just cruising down the street at normal highway speeds, just a slight twist of the throttle, and she will absolutely motor forward. Plus you get that awesome crescendo of 4 cylinders just wailing underneath you. God, this is so much fun, guys. One of the things I'd also like to mention is at highway speeds, there's not any kind of sense of buffeting whatsoever. And I think a lot of guys, when they start looking at some of these naked bikes, they'll possibly be a bit concerned that you're going to get beat up by the wind, but maybe it's the way that that TFT screen is blocking some wind or moving wind around me or something. I don't know, but I'll tell you this, I'm not getting buffeted around at all, and I'm sitting nice and upright. And I do want to talk a little bit about the sitting position on this bike as well. It is certainly more upright, but you are still forward a little bit. The foot peg position is a little bit low, but it's not so low that it feels like you're on a regular standard bike. It's got a little bit of lift to it. And I gotta say, it's very comfortable. It's very easy to bond with. Is that a right way to put it? I think the way that this bike just fits in general, nice wide handlebar, nice foot position, it's just so easy to become comfortable and to have riding this motorcycle just be intuitive. And I can tell you this, that I keep mentioning the quick shifter just because it is so good on this machine. Golly, what an amazing bike to spend some time with, guys. Just cruising down the highway too, no buzziness at all. The engine is incredibly smooth. You know, some of the 4 cylinders, you'll get this initial sense that you could possibly find yourself getting a bit fatigued over longer rides just because they can transmit quite a bit of vibration through the foot pegs or the handlebars. But I gotta tell you, it's not like that with this bike. There's a little bit of a hum, but nothing that would throw you off. Nothing that we would find to be distracting or annoying by any stretch. It really does sound good, guys, too. I will say this about this bike. At 464 pounds, you may have an initial thought that this bike would be a bit lumbering, but I've got to tell you, the way that this bike carries its weight, along with the seating position and the throttle response and just the overall riding experience, you get the impression that the bike is just so much lighter than what the specifications may be reading. Oh, just a roll of the throttle and it just picks up in any gear at any speed, it feels like, with this bike. I'll tell you something, this is a bike that I think anybody could get on and ride, that anybody could hop on and feel comfortable, but really more to the point, I think it's a bike that fits a lot of criteria for folks coming to a motorcycle from different places. So let's say you want to step up into a leader class sport naked. This is a great place to be. It's very smooth. It has very nice manners in terms of power production. It's not at all scary, very predictable, very confidence inspiring. So for somebody just getting into this level of motorcycle, it's a nice way to get started, a nice way to get going with a bike that can make the kind of power that this bike can make. But if you are a sport bike rider that's looking to maybe move away from sport bikes and you're looking for something with a bit more of a relaxed riding position that will absolutely deliver when it comes to entertainment. Just floating the front tire back there. That will absolutely deliver when it comes to just being a very entertaining motorcycle. Oh, what a great place to find yourself. This bike is fun. And one thing I have not mentioned yet, guys, is the price. Look, you get multiple rider modes, a great looking TFT, the quick shifter, traction control. You get all the doodads with this bike. But the price, MSRP right around $11,000. That's it. For all of this performance, for all of this fun, for the type of hot rod that this bike is, you can pick it up for the cost of a middleweight. I mean, and this is the top spec version. This is the SP. Oh, it is so good on partial throttle roll-in. So, could this be the bargain of the century? I would have to argue that it is. The level of fun that this bike brings to the table is tough to beat, and there are much more expensive motorcycles that just simply cannot deliver anywhere near on the promise of what this bike can bring to you. It's addictive. I gotta tell you that well, let me just say it like this. Would I take this bike home with me? Absolutely. If I had room in the stable, I could definitely see myself spending a good amount of time with this bike. The mid-range hit that this motorcycle provides and the noise of it is just absolutely addictive. Tip in and setting it up for corners, it just has absolutely no sense of wallowing or weight to it at all. And I can't help but to keep bragging about the throttle response on this bike. And the way that this throttle does feel so much more intuitive than many of the other ride-by-wire systems that I've tried out. So how does this bike shape up to other motorcycles in its class? Well, there's not a ton of bikes that are really in this bike's class, I would have to say. I mean, you've got other motorcycles like the GSX S1000. I suppose that would be the quickest and easiest direct line of sight comparison to this bike. But that bike does not have the suspension that this one has. It certainly doesn't have the price point that this bike has. So for the segment, guys, I gotta tell you, it's gonna make it really difficult for competitors to have an answer for this bike, mainly because, well, when you think of it from a value proposition, it's going to be practically impossible to beat this thing. And then factor in some subjectives like the fun factor of this thing. Oh, it makes it pretty much impossible to compete with this bike unless you've got just so much more technology that may or may not interest a lot of buyers in this category. And that's another thing, guys. It does have some technology to it, but it's not so much as to be intrusive, and certainly not so much as to drive the price point of this bike up to a place that makes it inaccessible. Let's run this thing back to the MSF course and see how she does just kind of wallowing around in slow speed maneuvers. This is one of my more fun things to do now with these motorcycles, is to try them out back here. Just kind of drop it in. Little maintenance throttle, spinning it right around. Look at that, just as pretty as you please. Guys, I gotta tell y'all something about this bike. It really does feel maybe a lot lighter than what you might think a bike like this would feel like. But if you think about it though, the wheelbase of this machine is only like 57, maybe 57 and a half inches. So because of that, it is nice and flickable, like a bike that would maybe be a lot smaller, maybe a lot lighter than this bike. It carries its weight so well. Who knew you could have so much fun on a motorcycle, on a leader class sport naked in a parking lot? But yeah, this thing is real nice, just creeping it right down real slow. Oh yeah, so well balanced. Guys, it was worth the wait. I gotta tell you, it was absolutely worth the wait for this bike. It may have actually even exceeded my expectations. It is more comfortable than I thought that it was going to be in terms of a riding position. It's a lot peppier than I thought that it was going to be through the mid-range. And my gosh, is this thing just a thing to look at in the black and gold. Listen, get down here to Stubbs, give this thing an eyeful, take it for a spin. I have a feeling you'll be taking it home with you guys. There's a reason why these bikes have been getting so much hype, and I can concur. And I will add my hat to it. This bike is absolutely worth it. God, I can't wait for you to try it out yourself. I think you're going to love it just as much as I did. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Hope to see you on the next one. Take care.